Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to unravel a really fascinating historical paradox. It's about this massive, super joyful festival in Spain that, get this, celebrates a crushing military defeat from 500 years ago.
So let's just jump right in with the central mystery here. I mean, why would anyone celebrate losing a battle? It feels totally backwards, right? You throw parades for victories, not for defeats. But in Spain, there's this one very specific loss that gets a huge party every single year.
I want you to just picture this. Every April 23rd, this massive festival just erupts in a small town called Villajar. We're talking thousands and thousands of people, and the atmosphere is just electric. It's vibrant, it's loud, it's a full-on celebration.
It's got a real modern festival vibe. You've got concerts and folk music, but then you also have political rallies. You'll see families having picnics right next to people laying these really beautiful floral offerings. There are even street performances. It's this wild mix of party, politics, and remembrance, and it pulls in people from all over.
But here's where it gets kind of wild. This giant party, this celebration of regional identity, it's all for a day that was, by all accounts, a complete disaster. We're talking about a crushing military defeat in 1521. This was the day a popular uprising got stamped out, and its leaders were executed. So yeah, a party for a loss.
Okay, so to make sense of the party, we've got to go back, like way back. 500 years, to be exact. We need to unpack the revolt that ended on this day. It's the story of the Comuneros' last stand.
This whole thing kicked off in 1520. Cities all across Castile basically rose up and rebelled against their king. But the rebellion, it didn't last long. It all came to a really brutal end on April 23, 1521, at the Battle of Villalar. The very next day, the rebel leaders were executed. It was all over.
So who were these rebels, these Comuneros? Well, that's key. They weren't just some angry mob. These were organized citizens from the biggest cities in Castile, and they were rising up against the king they saw as a foreigner, someone who was draining their region's wealth and just ignoring their local traditions.
And if you look at what they were asking for, it sounds surprisingly modern. They wanted more local control, an end to these crushing taxes, and a king who was actually loyal to Spain, not just a bunch of foreign advisors. They were pushing for more representation. I mean, this was basically one of the earliest cries for democracy against a powerful king.
So how did it all turn out for them? Well, they got crushed. I mean, totally defeated. The revolt ended in this swift, brutal loss at Villalar. End of story, right? Not quite.
Okay, so this is where the story takes a fascinating turn. How does a devastating loss become a legendary victory in spirit? Let's look at the symbolic transformation of the Comuneros, because this is how a loss became a legend.
You see, for hundreds of years, these guys were just seen as traitors to the king. But then, in the 1800s, things started to change. Spanish liberals, who were fighting their own battles against a powerful monarchy, started looking back for inspiration. And they recast the Comuneros as these early heroes, these martyrs who died fighting for freedom. Suddenly, they weren't traitors anymore, they were regional icons.
And this quote from the time just nails it. They started calling the battle the last breath of Castilian freedom. It completely reframes the whole event. See, it's not about the failure anymore. It's about the nobility of their last stand. The defeat itself became the symbol of everything they fought for.
And that whole historical makeover is exactly why the celebration today is what it is. It's a day built on ritual, politics, and a very strong sense of identity, all tied back to April 23rd.
And it's official, too. Since 1986, April 23rd has been the official holiday for the whole region of Castile and Leon. It's literally written into law that this day, the day of the defeat, is the day to celebrate their identity.
And the rituals of the day are just steeped in that history. You'll see people singing the Canto de Esperanza, which means Song of Hope. They wave the historic purple flags of the rebels. They even read political manifestos that connect the struggles of the 1500s to modern issues. It's all incredibly symbolic.
But don't get me wrong. This isn't just some sleepy, neutral history lesson for everyone. It's still very much alive with meaning. For a lot of people, it's a huge symbol of regional pride and a call for social justice. It's definitely not just a day off from work.
And because it means so much to so many, it's also a day of debate. Some people see it as this powerful symbol. Others feel a little less connected to that specific Castilian identity. The conversation is still going. Should it be more cultural or more political? It's a living tradition, and that means it's still being argued about.
So let's bring it all together.
what does Villa Pravara represent in the big picture? It's this incredible mix of history, party, and protest.
Really, it's like an Independence Day, a memorial service, and a music festival all rolled into one. It has this patriotic spirit, but also this real solemnity for the people who died. And at the same time, it's a giant, joyful party. There's honestly nothing else like it.
You can kind of break down the spirit of Villard like this. It's part local history, part political symbol, and part modern festival. And none of those things exist on their own. They all feed into each other to create this really unique experience.
So, in the end, what this all shows us is that a 500-year-old military defeat has become this living, breathing symbol of freedom. It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just a set of facts. It's about the stories we tell, what we choose to remember, and why.
And it kind of leaves you with a question to chew on, right? What historical failures have actually shaped who you are today? Because sometimes the most powerful stories of who we are, well, they don't come from our wins. They come from our losses.